Hello everyone, welcome back to Pabbly. In this video, we're going to learn how to create GoToTraining Registrant on Stripe payment. So I'm an owner of an EdTech company and I use Stripe in order to collect all the payments from the students who are going to take part in the training sessions that I'm hosting. And I manage all the training sessions using GoToTraining. Hey, what I want is that as soon as when if the student, a new payment is going to be done using Stripe as they're going to purchase the access of any training session that I'm hosting, I want to create that student as a registrant in my GoToTraining account in the training session that I've created. Now, creating these registrations manually after the new payment is done is very time consuming. So what I've done is I've simply automated this entire process with the help of Pabbly Connect, which is an amazing automation and integration software. And here in this automation, I'm going to build a connection between Stripe and GoToTraining with the help of it. So if you also want to learn about this amazing automation process step by step, for that let me take you to my screen.
In this video, we're going to learn how to create GoToTraining Registrant on Stripe payment. So as an owner of an EdTech company, I offer online training programs to students and professionals. I use Stripe to securely process course payments, ensuring a smooth and hassle-free transaction experience for my learners. And I use GoToTraining to deliver high-quality virtual training sessions to my participants. To streamline the operations, I've automated the process of enrolling students in GoToTraining immediately after they complete their payment through Stripe. This ensures instant course access, improves the user experience, and eliminates manual registration effort. And I'm going to create this amazing automation between Stripe and GoToTraining with the help of Pabbly Connect. So on the screen, you can see the website of Pabbly Connect, that is pabbly.com/connect. After browsing this website, we need to sign into our Pabbly Connect account. But if you're a new user, you can sign up for free and get 100 free tasks every month. So as I'm an existing user, I'm going to sign into my Pabbly Connect account. After signing in, you can see the All Pabbly apps window in front of you, in which you can see all the products that Pabbly provides, from which we are going to select Pabbly Connect by clicking on this Access Now button right here. Then Pabbly Connect's dashboard is going to appear in front of you. In order to start an automation process in Pabbly Connect, we need to create a workflow. For that, click on this top right corner button right here that says Create Workflow. A dialog box is then going to appear in front of you, which is asking for the workflow name and for us to select a folder. So for the name of my workflow, I'm going to give it as Create GoToTraining Registrant on Stripe Payment. So this is the name that I want to give to my workflow, okay? After that, it is asking for us to select a folder. So on the left side of my screen, you can see I've created multiple folders in my Pabbly Connect account, from which I'm going to select a specific folder in which I want to save this workflow in. For that, click on this drop down. These are the folders from which I'm going to select GoToTraining Automations as the folder I want to save this workflow in. After giving the name to the workflow and selecting the folder, I'm going to click on this Create button in order to create a workflow. A workflow is created in the name of Create GoToTraining Registrant on Stripe Payment, and you can see that there are two windows in front of you. One says Trigger, other says Action. So what is Trigger and Action? Trigger and Action are the two most important steps of our automation process because our process depends on these two principles. Over here, Trigger says when this happens and Action says do this. That means what is Action? Action is a response towards our trigger. In an automation process, there can be only one trigger step but multiple action steps. We are going to set up our trigger step first. And for the trigger application over here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select it as Stripe. As with the help of Stripe, I'm collecting the payments from the participants who are interested in the trainings that I'm hosting. I want that as soon as the payment by the participant is going to be done using Stripe, automatically the trigger over here should capture the response of that. And for the trigger event, I'm going to select over here as New Charge. After selecting the trigger application and the event, you can see that Pabbly Connect has provided us with a webhook URL. Now, using this unique webhook URL, we are going to build a connection between Stripe and Pabbly Connect by following the steps given here below in the help desk. So firstly, copy this URL from here. After copying the URL, log into your Stripe account. So this is my Stripe account and I am running my account on the test mode. You can see right over here just to tell you how you can connect your Stripe account to Pabbly Connect. Okay, in the similar manner that I'm going to tell you right now, you are going to connect your live account with Pabbly Connect as well. Now, in order to build the connection, from the left side of the panel, go to Developers section right over here, and in Developers over here it says Webhooks. Click on this Webhooks option right here. As you're going to land towards the Webhooks page, we are going to click on this Add Endpoint button right right over here. After doing that, over here it is asking for the API version. I'm going to select the latest version right here, okay? Over here, after that, it is asking for the event. So for the event over here in the help desk, it says selected as chart succeeded. So I'm going to copy this event from here and paste this event right over here, okay? And I'm going to select the event as chart succeeded. As I want to capture the response of the payment being done in my Pabbly Connect workflow right over here, that is why I've selected as chart succeeded as the event. Then I'm going to click on this continue button. After that, for the endpoint URL, I'm going to paste the webhook URL that Pabbly Connect has provided us. After that, if you want to add a description, you can add the description right over here. I do not want that, so I'm going to simply click on this create endpoint button right over here. As I'm going to do that, you can see this endpoint is successfully added. The webhook URL is successfully added to my Stripe account. As now the webhook URL is added, I'm going to go back to my workflow and scroll down. It is saying waiting for webhook response. So now to check whether Stripe has been connected to Pabbly Connect or not, what we are going to do is we are going to do the test payment using Stripe. And after doing the test payment, we're going to check whether Pabbly Connect captures the response of the test payment being done or not. Okay. For doing the test payment, I'm going to open the dashboard of my Stripe account. After coming to the dashboard, from the left side of the panel, I'm going to go to the payment links section right over here. I've created multiple payment links, you can see right over here, from which for the training, I have created a payment link in the name of Mastering Digital Marketing. And I'm going to collect the payments for this training right over here using Stripe. Now to do the test payment, this is the link over here. I'm going to copy this link from here and open this link in a new tab right over here. So after opening the link, this is the payment page for the training. So now let us fill in the dummy details. For the email over here, I'm going to write it as testuser3434@pabblytudes.com. For the phone number over here, I'm going to enter a dummy mobile number right here. After that, for the card over here, I'm going to enter the dummy card details right here. So these are the dummy card details. For the card holder name over here, I'm going to write it as. So this is the card holder name, you can see right over here. After the name over here, it is asking for the billing address. For the billing address country, I'm going to select it as India. For the address over here, I'm going to select it as 123 Old City. Okay. After that, it is asking for the city, which I'm going to select it as Indore. For the pin code over here, I'm going to enter the dummy pin code right here. And for the state, I'm going to select it as Madhya Pradesh. After filling in all the required details, I'm going to click on this pay button right over here. As I'm going to do that, it says thanks for your payment. As now the payment is done successfully using Stripe, I'm going to go back to my workflow and scroll down over here. You can see the response of the payment being done in our Stripe account has been captured over here in our trigger. As now the response of the payment being done has been captured in our trigger, let us tally the response. Type comes over here as charge succeeded. This is the request ID. Over here, this is the event. This is the ID of this event. You can see right over here. The status comes over here as succeeded. If I'm going to scroll down, the method is card. You can see right over here. After that, you can see the amount is 500. If I'm going to further scroll down right here, you can see name comes as test user. Email comes as testuser3434@pabblytudes.com. State as Madhya Pradesh. Postal code is right here. Address is 123 Old City. Country is IN, that is India. City is Indore with all the other details. As you can see right over here, the response of the payment being done using Stripe has been captured over here in our trigger. This means that we successfully created a connection between Stripe and Pabbly Connect and our trigger setup is done. So as now the connection is done successfully, now in my Stripe account, if I'm going to go to the payment link section, you can see I've created multiple links in my Stripe account. I want to create a registrant in my GoToTraining account in the case whenever the payment for this specific link is going to be done using Stripe, that is Mastering Digital Marketing. Now, in order to do that, we're going to add another action step to this workflow. And for the action application over here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select it as filter by Pabbly. And for the action event, I'm going to select as filter values, as now we are going to add a condition in this workflow. And then I'm going to click on this connect button. After that, over here, it is asking for us to select the label. For the select label over here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the label over here as the price. As the price for all the webinars that I'm hosting is different from each other. So what I'm going to do is for the filter, I'm going to select the unique ID that is price right over here. So whenever the price from the previous response is going to be 500 with extra 2 zeros right over here, then this workflow is going to be executed after this filter step. I'm going to click on the save and send test request button. The status comes as success and the message comes as condition is true. Now what I've done is that as soon as by the student a payment is going to be done using Stripe, over here trigger is going to capture the response. Now as trigger is going to capture the response of all the payments for all the payment links in my Stripe account, over here I've added this filter so that whenever the payment for this specific link in the name of Mastering Digital Marketing is going to be done in our trigger after the capture of the response right over here. This workflow is going to be further executed only for the payment for the specific training is going to be done using Stripe. Okay, so now as we have done that, now what I want is I want to create the student have done the payment as a registrant in my GoToTraining account. Now for that, we're going to add another action step to this workflow. And for the action application over here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select it as GoToTraining. And for the action event over here, I'm going to select it as create registrant. And then I'm going to click on this connect button. A window is going to open in front of you, on which click on add new connection, or else you can select the existing connection that you have. After that, click on connect with GoToTraining. As we have done that, you can see successfully authorized GoToTraining to Pabbly Connect. After authorizing it is asking for us to select a training. So I've created a training over here in the name of Mastering Digital Marketing. So for the training over here, I'm going to select it as Mastering Digital Marketing. Okay. After that, it is asking for the registrant email, first name and the last name. So for the data of these fields, we are going to map the data. What is mapping? Mapping means inserting data from the previous step. So we're going to insert the data from the previous step of this workflow. And how it works is that as soon as I'm going to click on this field, these were the previous steps. And as I'm going to click on this Stripe new charge, you can see there's the same response of the payment being captured over here. It is asking for the email of our registrant. In the response, I have received the email of my participant who is taking the part in my training that I'm hosting. You can see right over here, this is the email. So as I'm going to create this participant as a registrant, so I'm going to select the data of this email from my previous response. As I've selected the data from my previous response, the data is mapped. And as I've mapped the data has now become dynamic. That means now whenever a new response is going to be captured in our previous step, automatically the new data is going to be updated in place of this mapped data. Similarly, it is asking for the first name. So I'm going to search for the name right over here. It is asking for the first name and the last name separately. But in the response, in our previous response, we have received the first name and the last name together. Now, in order to separate both of these values, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another action step to this workflow. And for the action application over here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select it as text formatter by Pabbly. And for the action event, I'm going to select it as split text, as I'm going to split the first name with the last name. Okay, then I'm going to click on this connect button. For the text to split, I'm going to map the data of the name that I've received, as I'm going to separate the first name and the last name. For separating, it is asking for the separator. As I'm going to separate the first name with the last name, there is a space between these two values. You can see over here, and I'm going to use the space as separator. It says for a space as separator, use this code. So I'm going to copy this code from here, and I'm going to paste this code in the separator field right over here. For the segment index, I want both first name and the last name. So I'm going to select it as all, and then I'm going to click on this save and send test request button. As I've done that, the first name and the last name is separated. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to map the data of the first name and the last name right here. Okay, I'm going to map the data of the last name as well right over here. After filling in all the required details, I'm going to click on this save and send test request button right here. As I'm going to do that, we have received a response in which we have received the registrant key, which is a positive response. So now I'm going to open my GoToTraining account. This is the training page in my GoToTraining account. I'm going to refresh this page from here. As I've refreshed the page, if I'm going to scroll down over here, you can see it says registrants. I'm going to click on this number right here, and you can see a new registrant for test user has been successfully created right over here with the name as test user, email as testuser3434@pabblytudes.com. As another registrant has been created in my GoToTraining account, this means that we have successfully created an automation between Stripe and GoToTraining with the help of Pabbly Connect. So now to sum up what we have done. I am an owner of an EdTech company, and using Stripe, I collect the payments for the trainings that I'm hosting in my business. And for managing the training, I use GoToTraining. For the trigger, I've selected as Stripe new charge, as whenever the payment for the training session is going to be done by the student using Stripe, the trigger over here is going to capture the response of that. And over for the action, I've selected as GoToTraining create registrant. Now using the student's information that has been captured over here in the response, a registrant is going to be created in my GoToTraining account. And in this manner, you can build the connection between these two applications with Pabbly Connect. So this was it for this video. Thank you so much for watching.
Not just with these applications, you can create automation between multiple other applications with the help of Pabbly Connect. If you have any questions, you can contact us on support@pabbly.com. If you have any queries, you can check the queries on forum.pabbly.com. And if you have any pricing related issues, then you can check out this link. If you like this video, please do subscribe to our channel, hit on the like button, comment on if you have any questions or doubts, and please share this video.